Hey everyone, Natasha here from Bright Sprout Consulting. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, I'm a career and life coach, and my goal here on YouTube and in real life is to help you succeed in the world of work by building your confidence. Usually I do that by posting my top tips for how you can make sense of the murky world of work. But sometimes, like today, I share some stories from my life so that you can see how the things that I talk about can play out in real life, in my real life. So if that sounds like something you'd be keen to know more about, then feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can be updated of any new videos that I post. Last week, I chatted about unconscious bias. And if you haven't seen that video, I would encourage you to go check it out. It's a great video. For that video though, I had to do a lot of research and a lot of self-reflection in terms of my own unconscious biases. In this week's video, I've decided to share some of the things I was thinking about. And hopefully you can learn a thing or two about your own biases. Last week, I was utterly horrified and shocked to discover that I have a gender bias. Me, the most feminist that I know, associates men with career and women with family. But on reflection, I could see how that bias has played out in my work life and my home life. This week though, I didn't really want to chat about some of the more obvious biases that exist. I wanted to focus the video on some of the lesser known biases that are out there and how it's played out in my life. One of my unconscious biases I've been reflecting on quite a bit this week is confirmation bias. Have you heard of it? Essentially, it's when you cherry pick information around you to support and reinforce what you already believe and think. I can think of at least one instance when I've done this, and it's not turned out well for me. I was a very junior HR person at some point, and I was partnered with quite an experienced business partner. At the time, I knew she disliked me because she tried from the onset to get me replaced by somebody else. I thought that the reason she wanted to replace me was because I was not the same religion as she was. I thought that she had a bias against individuals that weren't Muslim. At the time, I was fully convinced of this and saw evidence of her bias every day. Turns out that that wasn't true. The reason she didn't want to partner with me was because she didn't enjoy my working style. And also, I was the most junior person she had ever been partnered with from an HR perspective. So she didn't think I was experienced enough to help her. Essentially, my behavior towards her, because I assumed her bias was related to religion, was one that made me appear unprofessional. And as a result, I was moved from that environment. It's human nature to gravitate towards people who are similar to us, who potentially look like us, share similar backgrounds, and potentially even beliefs. That's known as affinity bias. In the world of work though, that approach doesn't always work, and it doesn't always help you to progress in the organization. The difficulty with affinity bias is that it stops you from exploring things outside of what you already know. That's happened to me a number of times and has stopped me from growing in my career. I found that my biggest growth was when I surrounded myself with people who are different to me, that had different experiences and who could actually add to what I knew about the world. Something to think about. The final bias that I wanted to chat to you today about, that I've been reflecting on, is one known as optimism bias. Yes, that's me. The person who sees the world with rose-tinted glasses. It's great in theory to be positive about everything that's happening, but you know, sometimes you can't spin the positive side to things like world wars, being dismissed. Those things are just bad, and it's okay to say that they're bad. The difficulty with using this bias is in how you make decisions. So, I think back to when I was on a management team and we had to put our strategy together and decide on activities. It was all good until I, with my rose-tinted glasses, decided to shoot for the stars, to recommend something that was hugely impossible to do. But using my optimism bias, I convinced all of them that it was doable. And it wasn't. It's a problem, because essentially what happened was we didn't achieve the objective we set out, and it affected my credibility, because now they are beginning to question my decision-making ability, my ability to decide what is achievable and what isn't. That's it. We've come to the end of our video today. Hopefully you've learned something new about yourself through listening to my stories. As mentioned earlier, I'm a career and life coach. If you are looking to unpack some of your unconscious biases with someone, then feel free to reach out. All of my details will be in the description box below.